Right now, Israel's war cabinet, it's decided to hit back forcefully against Iran for its missile and drone attack on Saturday night. Netanyahu summoned his war cabinet for the second time in less than 24 hours. Israel's military chief said that his country will respond to Iran's weekend attack, but he did not elaborate on how and when.
We are closely assessing the situation. We remain at our highest level of readiness. Iran will face the consequences for its actions. We will choose our response accordingly. The IDF remains ready to counter any threat from Iran and its terror proxies as we continue our mission to defend the State of Israel.
The Israeli military released more footage claiming to show the damage which one of its air bases suffered in Iran's largely thwarted weekend aerial attack. Israeli officials have said that the repairs at the base are ongoing and that operations continue at the site. Israel remained on high alert, but authorities lifted some emergency measures that had included a ban on some school activities and limits on large gatherings. The White House has also said that Iran did not provide warnings to the United States last week about its time frame for launching an attack on Israel or its potential targets.
I've seen reporting that the Iranians meant to fail, that this spectacular and embarrassing failure was all by design. I've also seen Iran say that they provided early warning to help Israel prepare its defenses and limit any potential damage. All of this is categorically false. To coin a phrase from the president, or still a phrase from the president, it's malarkey.
Earlier, Turkish, Jordanian and Iraqi officials said that Iran did give wide notice days before its drone and missile attack on Israel. And now the head of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has warned that Iran would respond to future Israeli attacks on Iran-linked targets. Meanwhile, the United Nations nuclear watchdog chief said that he is concerned about possible Israeli targeting of Iranian nuclear facilities.
Are you concerned that some of the targets might be nuclear facilities in Iran, especially that IAEA inspectors are on the ground? If you still can, and if you can confirm that, actually.
Well, of course, we are always concerned about this possibility. What I can tell you is that our inspectors in Iran were informed by the Iranian government that on the yesterday all the nuclear facilities that we are inspecting every day would remain closed on security considerations. They would be reopened today for the continued inspections.
The IAEA regularly inspects Iran's main nuclear facilities like its enrichment plants in Natanz and that are the heart of the country's nuclear program. Now, when Israeli leaders have hinted at retaliation, the government is under heavy international pressure to not further escalate the conflict. The Biden administration has been the most vocal in asking Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to exercise restraint. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder said that the United States does not want to seek an escalation with Iran. This is after the United States supported Israel in shooting down dozens of missiles and drones launched by Iran on Saturday.
Certainly, when it comes to any type of Israeli response, and again, I'm not going to speak for the Israelis, that is a decision for them to make in terms of what they do, if they do it, and how they do it. But again, from a U.S. standpoint, we continue to make very clear that we don't seek a wider regional war, and we'll continue to work towards that result.
Ryder also noted that the Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin spoke to his Israeli counterpart 3 times over the course of the weekend. Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani called for restraint in West Asia. Sudani led a delegation that met officials across Washington, including Biden and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. On the other hand, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said that all sides must show restraint to avoid a rising spiral of violence in West Asia. while French President Emmanuel Macron said that Paris will try to convince Israel that they must not respond by escalating. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and his Iranian counterpart Hossein Amir Abdollahian held phone talks regarding the tensions between Israel and Iran. Amir Abdollahian said Iran is willing to exercise restraint and has no intention of further escalating the situation. Wang said that China is willing to stay in communication with Iran and jointly promote a comprehensive, just and lasting settlement of Palestine. The United States is pursuing a deal that would allow for a ceasefire lasting at least 6 weeks and allow more aid into Gaza. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said that Israel has moved in a significant way, but Hamas is the barrier to a deal that would see fighting in Gaza paused and hostages released.
Hamas needs to take that deal, and they need to explain to the world and to the Palestinian people why they aren't taking it, because it is Hamas right now that is the barrier and the obstacle to a ceasefire in Gaza.
This comes as pro-Palestinian activists protesting the war in Gaza shut down the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. California traffic on the 6-lane suspension bridge came to a standstill as several protesters chained themselves to parked vehicles. About 20 people were arrested and were taken into custody. Now for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Listen to this.
President Biden welcomed Iraqi Prime Minister al-Sudani to the White House, acknowledging the sensitive timing of this visit amidst recent events in the Middle East. President Biden said that he wants to prevent the Middle East conflict from spreading, but also vowed to defend Israel after Iran launched an unprecedented aerial attack on the key U.S. ally. The meeting took place as the world watches to see how Israel will respond to that Iranian attack. The timing and nature of the response will depend on various factors, including political pressure from the Israeli public and the U.S. government's stance. Biden's critics argue that Israel should respond in a way that reestablishes deterrence by punishment rather than just denying Iranians the ability to harm civilians, as the Biden administration seems to be advocating for, at least until now. What seems to be clear is that discussions regarding the complexities and challenges of dealing with Iran's behavior and the need for a robust response to deter further aggression has only just begun. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.